Stop, drop, and talk. We've got no time for bullshit. Stop, drop, and talk. With Ava, RJ, and B-Rock. It's Stop. Stop, drop, and talk.
Has nothing to say.
Hey, gee, oh, God, what was, sorry, everybody, sorry, okay, got that out. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Stop, Drop, and Talk. It's great to be here. I'm RJ Hill. Welcome to the show this week. We're so excited. And with me, as always, is the beautiful, the amazing, the talented, the incredible, what can I say? It's
Stop, drop, and talk.
Eva Steele. Hey, Eva.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? We are so excited to be here. Season 3, episode 2. We have InQ joining us here shortly. You are going to want to stick around for that. But before we get into everything, B-Rock, how you doing over there?
I am great. Gosh, man, season 2, episode 3, crazy.
No, season 3, episode 2.
Sorry. I was looking at my notes, but I'm so excited for InQ.
Why we make the big bucks?
I know, right? But I'm so excited for this guy. Gosh, he's done so much stuff. So cool.
I really dug his Prime special that he did and the TED Talk that he did. And man, like, what a poet. He's amazing.
We're gonna get into all that, but first, you guys, it's National Margarita Day.
Oh, National Margarita Day! How about that? I see you've got 2, just in case one breaks down, right?
Yeah, I have 2.
There you go. Smart.
Gotta have your backups. So some big things happening in this in the country. We've got that Perseverance rover landing on Mars.
Oh, sounds like a segment for our super fun segment. It's called. Come on, button. Oh, God. It's called Some Fucks Given.
That's why we make the big bucks, man.
God damn it. This happened to me last week. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Let me see if I can get it to work here. Here we go.
Some people got many and others have none. We're all going crazy, so come and get one. It's Some Fucks Given.
Yep, that's right. Some Fucks Given. And this is the most technically advanced show on the internet. So, yes, I'm very excited about the Perseverance. That's what it is. The Perseverance Mars landing. It's great. It's paving the way towards a return from Mars mission in the near future and to possibly bring back samples. Actual live samples from Mars. I'm so stoked about that. And we're also one step closer to our first human mission to Mars. So, sorry, Elon.
They just beamed back some audio sounds, the first audio sounds from Mars. Who knows what that
sound like?
I have no idea. Yeah,
so
I
don't know.
Do you guys think that's far-fetched, like at some point to live on Mars? How long do you think that would be? That's insane.
They say there's signs of life on Mars, but we shall see. Who knows, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
We shall see. I can't wait to see signs of intelligent life on Earth, you know? Someday that'll happen.
Hopefully it's a bigger step for mankind doing this. Speaking of mankind, you guys, I hear that you nasty dudes don't wash your hands as often as women.
Yes, this is our really crazy topic for this week. So I saw a TikTok the other day, and it got me thinking. It was this girl who owned a CrossFit, and she said, "Hi, welcome to my CrossFit." And she goes in the ladies' room, and she's like, "I fill this thing up every single day." And then she goes to the men's room, and she's like, "I haven't filled up this thing since last October or whatever." And it just got me thinking, do guys not wash their hands after a workout? Because that's the first thing I do immediately after a workout. I got to wash my hands because gyms are gross to begin with anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and I think honestly with Planet Fitness opening, I've relied too much on the sanitizer because you're supposed to wipe the machine down each time. So I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I forgot a couple times about washing my hands afterwards to get that kind of deep scrub just because there's sanitizer everywhere. But what about you, Eva? Well,
that doesn't get the dirt off your hands and the skin flakes from
so gross.
I understand that, but I forget,
No!
So I have a couple theories on this, especially for that girl owning the CrossFit gym. Now I'm going to get gross, but it's going to be hilarious because I think I'm fun. So yes, girls wash their hands more. I've noticed that. But maybe she's going through soap so often at the CrossFit gym because after you work out, you're sweaty and gross. And sometimes we like to do a little something called a whore bath.
Oh.
Maybe they're using soap for that.
I mean, would you really
Interesting.
use like hand soap for that though, or?
Desperate times, man.
I guess
mean,
you're
I know
right.
a lot
I've been there.
Is that kind of like a wet
lot of
wipe
gyms have
deal?
showers, but
True.
maybe
don't
they
think-
didn't bring body wash.
I don't think the CrossFit does. I mean, that is a good theory because I know a thing or two about like bird baths in the sink. Like, first couple years of touring, you park at a Walmart and that's all you get. You get the bathroom to kind of,
Oh my God,
just do what you got to do.
that's so PG of you and adorable. A bird bath. I should
Bird bath, Yeah, right. But does this happen in your salon though, Eva?
So we actually have a unisex bathroom. And so I have no idea if guys are using more or less.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I guess it makes sense because probably most of your clientele is probably women, right? Or is it pretty mixed?
I would say 70-30.
Okay, yeah. I just often think about that. Like, do less men wash their hands because there's less there's less touching of things? Because especially if you're wearing stretch pants, like you could just kind of just not touch anything, just let everything flop out and then just flop everything back in. And you're like, well, I didn't touch anything. So, I mean,
or maybe they're just more stubborn. You think?
You better have
men are known to be stubborn.
You better have some really good aim if you're just going to let it flop out.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it can splash. And, that's the thing. The guy that invented the little spiky plastic thing in the urinal, most brilliant invention of all time. No splashback at all. That's amazing.
Oh, the urine cake?
You know what I'm talking about, Brock.
Yeah, the urine cake.
No, not the urine cake. The urine spiky, kind of plastic spiky thing.
Isn't that what it's
catches
called?
pee?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're thinking of a urinal cake is what combats the smell in the urine.
Yeah. And it's a nice little snack when you're really hungry, Okay.
Stick. My friend Tyler says gypsy shower with baby wipes. I like that, gypsy shower.
No.
That's a little better than what I called it.
There's probably better things to call it than that, but I don't know. That doesn't sound very cool. I don't know. Weird.
Admit, if I'm in a really gross, icky, public bathroom, I always carry hand sanitizer with me. And instead of touching the nasty, dirty faucets and if there's filthy water all over the counter, I'm not going over there. I'm going to use my hand sanitizer until I can get to a cleaner bathroom to wash my hands.
Well, now more than ever, I feel especially after the pandemic and everyone's kind of getting used to doing the L bump and everything like that. I think that this needs to be a complete end and we need to completely cut off handshaking altogether. No more handshaking, no more shaking hands, no more high fives, just L bump or wave or bow. I think that's the way we need to adopt.
How are you going to make a good business deal then, man? I mean, come on.
RJ, you realize though that when we all finally get together, there's hugging. We're hugging.
I mean,
I'm
hugging.
not a hugger.
What, you're not transferring germs from your hands onto other people's hands when you're hugging. I mean, even though you're closer.
No, but your faces are this close together when you're hugging somebody.
Well, it's a good thing I'm really close to you guys and I really know you well. I guess.
One thing that I will say that public bathrooms have done that is really good is they've added those toe kicks, those little things on the bottom of the door, so you can open the bathroom door with your shoes.
Those are cool. Those need
better.
to happen. Yes. So there we go. There's my little weird segment of the whole theory of washing hands and wash your hands, everybody. 20 seconds.
Your hands, you
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to the whole world.
Twice. You sing it twice.
Sing it twice, and it's just as nice.
Did you guys see the Cecil Hotel doc? Holy shit.
That was crazy.
Ooh, I've heard some nuts stuff about it. Yeah.
So many thoughts running through my head about this.
Okay, spoilers for those listening. Spoilers, but just fair warning. Ending was a little weak, I thought. A little weird.
Agreed 100%. It was the biggest anticlimactic ending I've ever seen.
I have friends that suffer from bipolar disorder, and even if a couple days where if they run out of a prescription or something, they don't get quite to that level where it just seems like a very unlikely thing to call suicide in a water tank with the lid placed back on, and she's naked, and it's the whole theory of that just seemed a bit seemed more far-fetched than a murder.
Put the lid back on herself
while she's in a tank of water. I don't get it.
for sure.
And they blamed it on hypothermia. She stripped her clothes off because she was going through hypothermia. I mean, it's like, I don't think she would take her underwear off though.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Oh.
Okay, so this bitch on the screen.
Oh, this bitch.
Oh, she's scary. Oh
right
my
up
god.
there with Carol Baskin in my.
Yeah, her and Carol Baskin need to tour together and do like a.
There's a really bizarre look in her eyes when they are interviewing her, and I don't know about you guys, but I got the total heebie-jeebies, and like something was like, oh, ooh.
I'm not surprised that you would. You know?
There's something up. Like she knows more than she's talking. That's what I think.
She looks evil to me. She definitely looks evil to me.
Well, and just her total like lack of empathy, you know, towards the whole situation when they're interviewing her. I was like stunned almost at some of her interviews.
I don't know.
And then her instructing all of the guests, do not talk to the press. Don't, you know, and I understand like an investigation's underway, like you have to be very careful. I understand that. However, the way they handled those guests and the way they handled everything after the fact that it happened, there is more to the story and somebody's not talking and they're hiding something. That's my thought.
I think the most hilarious part, well, not hilarious because it's not funny because it's, you know, obviously tragic, but the bizarre part was how much it took off in like the YouTuber universe. Like they were and people got so invested in the story, and like YouTubers were making like live stream shows and podcasts based on it. Like it was crazy to see all that take off. And I thought the craziest part, and you know, being a songwriter and a musician and artist myself, was that goth singer guy, like that metal singer who like just people, even though like obviously like he had plenty of alibis, he wasn't even in the country at the time when she got killed, but or when she died. But like still like they blamed him for it, and like it just snowballed out of control from like the online universe. Did you see that part about the goth singer? It was weird.
I did. What do you think the obsession was with all of the YouTubers with this murder in particular? Do you think it was about this murder in particular, or just with the history of the Hotel Cecil?
I mean, yeah, it has a checkered history for sure.
Well, and that's where the Night Stalker would go hide out.
Oh my God! I heard there's a documentary coming out about that guy, Rodriguez, right?
It's already out.
Ramirez.
It's already out, and it is.
Oh, it's out.
It's. Oh my God.
I think it's only like 3 episodes, but it's in the 70s, right? Yeah, in the 70s, and it's
intense.
Pretty out there.
That might be a good topic for next week, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
It could be. That thing.
Yeah, I was gonna sit down and watch one episode, and then like 3.5 hours later, I was done with it.
But I did kind of feel bad for that singer guy though, because like he had, you know, undeniable proof that he didn't do it, but because everybody was just so convinced that he did it and they were just constantly hounding him, they said that like his band account, like online, his Facebook account and his Google like Gmail account like got suspended, like he got booted off of all this stuff. It was just like, man, wow. Like that's just it's kind of like cancel culture before cancel culture. It's kind of messed up.
Okay, so that clip or that photo we just saw of her in the elevator, what did you guys think about that clip of her? And it looked like she was like either possessed or wigging out or something, or somebody had to be, you know, somewhere in her vicinity that she was terrified of. But something about that clip like made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
That was creepy. I heard that they doctored the video a little bit, like the door was like jerked forward or something, and it was like, but I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
She hit the door open button, which also apparently in this video,
yes,
she hit the door open button and it holds the door open for 2 minutes.
Well, and I'm convinced it definitely was a ghost.
I don't know.
That was definitely it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's and, you know, our producer
totally creepy.
And just said, you know, how was a whole minute of this clip missing?
Ghosts. That's what it is. No.
Yeah, whatever.
Be, right?
That's insane.
Well, it was something to watch during the pandemic. So thank you, Hulu, for the entertainment, and it definitely killed some time for us. So anyway,
yeah, it was interesting and it was weird. On a lighter note,
yeah, there
is some drama going around about Instagram model and some gamer. What is this shit about?
Oh, yes. So I found out about this. Let me see if I can find my notes on this. I made some notes. So apparently what happened was this famous Instagram model and TV weather presenter, Yanette Garcia, she got dumped by her professional gamer boyfriend. So she's called like the quote unquote world's sexiest weather girl. She's got like 13 million Instagram followers. And apparently he broke up with her because he wanted to devote time to his career playing Call of Duty. And it just kind of like is like, okay, is this like one of those like stereotypes? Like, okay, he's got a really crazy hot girlfriend, and he's like, you know what, I love you, babe, but I really just want to play video games. You know, it was very, very bizarre.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, so I can't judge the guy because you don't know. Maybe she's super boring in real life, but Call of Duty to leave a girl like that. Oh my gosh, no way.
Well, apparently she was like really heartbroken about the whole thing and actually tweeted out, quote, never listen to the advice of a person who has not done anything good with his life. That's what she said. That's pretty cold, right? So all of her fans on Instagram started like just sending him hate mail, just be like, you fucking idiot. Like, you know, like what's wrong with you? You're going to choose video games or your girlfriend? And get this, he replied with a photo of him standing in front of a giant check for $50,000 that he made in a Call of Duty championship. So maybe he came out ahead in it. I don't know. You know, I mean, like, who has the last laugh here?
Well, and that's hard to say because who's to know, like B-Rock was saying, what she's like in real life.
Dan, can you find that photo of him in front of the check? It's hilarious. Oh my God. So
you know, like the whole,
you're
like,
right.
She's stunning, but like, what if there's not a lot to her? What if she's really dumb? What if she's one of those people that you take out to dinner and they're awful to the wait staff no matter what? You know what I mean? Like one of those people, or sends their food back all the time. Like, what if she was one of those people?
You're right. I mean, personality has a lot to do with it. Just because she's insanely hot, and she is, I mean, I have eyes, they work. You know? Yeah. So to me, at first, I was like, oh, like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, seriously, you know, I'm lucky enough to have a super hot girlfriend. And I also love playing Call of Duty. I do it sometimes, but you know, I would much rather, you know, she's more important to me than that. But then again, it's not my career. You know, if video games to him is like music is to me, then maybe I can kind of get it. I can understand where he's coming from. If that's what he wants to dedicate his time to.
Then he's got to find himself.
What do you think, Dan?
I can't find the check, so sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's hilarious. I found it somewhere. We'll show it later. But Dan Gattulo, everybody. Thank you.
Producer. Yeah, there's I mean, I feel like that's a little first world problems, but I think it's hilarious what people do on social media, like how to go after one another, and people have no idea what the real situation is. And like, why are people talking about this also? Who gives a shit?
You know, I mean, well, we're talking about it. I mean, so. Oh, there it is.
Well, comedic value, but who honestly does? I mean, it's their deal, not ours, for sure.
I mean, $50,000 for playing Call of Duty. I mean, I don't know. I think it kind of won in life. I don't know.
Maybe she was spending all his winnings.
We'll see how long it lasts.
Maybe she was really high maintenance. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. It's almost like Oh, I'm sorry. What's up?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, like, this is like one of those stories like that little Uzi Vert who got like the $24 million forehead piercing. And I think he literally just did it. Yeah, there it is. You know?
I've never seen that.
Like, that is a great way to either get shot or just have somebody rip it off your head.
Why is it $24 million? Can I ask that? It literally looks like a vagina.
Like, it's a really expensive vagina, I guess. I don't know, dude. Like, that is, I mean, you know, more power to him. If you can, you should. And it just makes me think, like, how come Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos aren't doing this? Come on, guys.
Because they have tact.
You know, it's
smart.
like I'm talking like these new money guys. They know how to do it. Right? You know, they know how to do it right.
Like,
you know?
Nice vagina on your forehead.
Yeah, that looks terrible.
$4 million. Like, come on.
Maybe he really likes vaginas. I don't. You know, vaginas are great.
Then get a tattoo of it. It's
under your armpit or something.
Oh my God, a vagina under my arm. That's a really good idea, B-Rock. Let's do that. Let's do that live on the
God,
anyway.
We're getting off the rails.
Get off the wagon here.
It's fine. It's fine. It is time for B Ranks with B-Rock.
Oh, But it's not. We're not ranking today. This is just a B-Rock free for all solo segment. But so here's the song. God damn it! What?
That button. Hit it.
What is wrong with you?
A 5 and a 4 and a 3, 2, 1. Come on, B-Rock, let's have some fun.
There we go.
Yeah, so I thought I'd do something different and bring in this guy that's doing some really cool stuff within communities. His name is Carl. He owns Nowhere BMX, and I thought I'd just kind of bring him in and let him talk about all the cool stuff he's been doing lately.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Doing excellent. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit what you're up to, what you've been doing.
So for the last 10 years, my wife and I have been running a nonprofit bicycle training facility for kids.
Oh my God!
I would like to mention that it's all wheels friendly though. Our specialty is BMX, but if any kid is looking for a place to go, it doesn't matter if you're riding scooter, skateboard, just whatever. Our main focus is positivity within the community and helping kids feel a sense of belonging and giving them a safe place to go. And I feel that these sports can provide that, but a lot of times you're kind of constrained to kids that are financially well off enough to either afford the equipment or travel to the cool places. Right. And my wife and I wanted to provide any and every kid, not just the financially fortunate, that type of atmosphere.
That's very cool.
Very cool, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So how do you guys, if you guys offer this, you provide it for free?
Correct.
And so how do you guys do the funding for that? Like, that's got to cost some serious money.
It does. We're performers, and so we travel around the country. Now kind of centralized. We try and stay by home so we can talk about our cause, but we perform and everything. And because we do that, we were already paying insurance for our shows, so we just kind of pay a little extra in insurance now, and it is costly, but when people tell us all that, they ask all the time, that's a very common question is, how can you afford to do this? And with so many problems in the world and kids needing a place like this desperately, I always answer with, how can we afford not to?
Good point.
That's very cool, man.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How has it been during kind of the social distancing time? Because obviously if you're on a BMX, you can stay away, but it's probably helped the children more socially.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I would say is it's more important now than ever. I'll tell you on a personal note, I've lost 2 close friends to suicide during the pandemic. And so it's more important now than ever to provide these places where our places, we're on 6 acres, so you can spread out safely. And we always go by our state's guidelines and stuff. But, kids need to get out of the house. They need to socialize. And even if we've got to do it 6 feet apart, at least we're still doing it. We need that interaction. So
absolutely,
yeah, it's been amazing.
It's good for their health too, because they're being physically active too. Like it's just helping them develop and grow better.
And those endorphins. And
I can imagine being a kid now, being stuck at home. Like, I mean, I'm stuck at home and I'm like, wow, I didn't know it was that easy to get out of shape just from like not burning calories, walking around and just sitting around at home. So that's really cool what you guys are doing for kids.
Thank you very much. Like, one of the biggest things I will say is I was a victim of heavy bullying during school. I wasn't cut out for football, stuff like that. What's cool about the extreme sports and the independence is we're kind of like the junkyard dog. So we're all there for each other. It's amazing. And you can boost that self-confidence. And we get parents all the time that, we'll have a kid that maybe had a disability or something, and they come in real shy. And then a year later, the parents are like, they're doing better in school. They're confident. They have friends. And that's something that we're able to provide just because of the atmosphere and the community that's here at our place.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, Carl, I think what you're doing is amazing, and I'm so glad that you came on, and I hope to talk with you more in the future. So it's really good to have you on, and we'll talk to you later, buddy.
What are your socials so that people can check out what you're doing?
What was that you said?
What are your socials so that people can check out what you're doing?
Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. It's Nowhere, spelled Nowear BMX, and our nonprofit is called the Nowhere Compound.
Oh,
that is
cool,
so
man.
awesome.
Right
So
Thank you so much for coming on.
You guys are super rad. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, thank you for doing what you're doing, man. Keep
Absolutely.
up the there we go. Honoring some heroes this year during this pandemic and all that. So
a new angle there. That was pretty
what
cool.
What an awesome little guest there, B-Rock. Way to go.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So
yeah, well done.
Get into our next guest, and it is time to bring him in. What we want you to know about him is that he has had 2 TV specials. He was in what was it? Oprah's Super Soul 100. He's done TED Talks. He has done all these different crazy things. And we do actually have a little trailer from one of his video specials.
Please welcome to the stage from Santa Monica, California, NQ.
If you guys feel good, say yeah. If you're alive, say yeah. You have a voice that should haunt you in the dead of night. Would you fly if you weren't convinced that you were afraid of heights? And who convinced you anyway? They had no fucking rights.
Party and hefty laughs.
I was coming out of my new therapist's office the other day, and sitting in the waiting room was my old therapist. It's your authentic voice. And no matter where you go in life, it never leaves. And that's God, no matter what religion you believe.
Mind-blowing.
Inspired. Very inspired.
NQ is a beast.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing.
So is he at the door? Is that what we got going on?
All right. Well, if he's at the door, then in queue, will you please
Stop, drop, and walk in.
There he is, and
We did
in
it.
the flesh. He's here. We got him on our show.
You have a fantastic energy, man.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, good vibes all around. And the last person that came up was just an unbelievable human being. So appreciate you guys having me here tonight.
Oh my God, it's such an honor to have you. Your work is so inspiring and amazing. And you have been like a professional poet for so many years now, which is so amazing to see that. And so amazing to see in that special, the amount of people that you brought out. That's a sold out crowd, isn't it?
Yeah, that was 1,700 people.
God.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
For
gosh.
poetry, absolutely incredible. Good for you, man.
And so your latest
Los Angeles.
your latest TV special is live from LA, and it's on Amazon Prime. You can stream that now on Prime Video. And your first one, actually, both produced by our own producer,
Dan Catullo.
Dan Catullo.
E-Cat.
There he is.
What's up, D?
Get out of here.
I wore a good vibes shirt today in Adam's honor because he's all about good vibes. So
Oh, well, that's
you,
cool.
man.
everybody can see what I see. I've been a huge fan of Adam for years. We met years ago when he did a TED conference that I produced, and immediately after I said, "How can we help?" And we did was it the Mark Taper Forum first, right? That was Question Everything, and then it led to this monster show at the Ace Theater, which is on Amazon now.
It was such a special night, and you guys captured it perfectly. It was so cool to watch it back because when you're performing, you only have your perception and then you have your memories of your perception. So it was cool to see how you guys captured the night because I don't know, it allowed me to even learn things that I wasn't aware of, because I was just on stage doing my thing.
Yeah, well, you brought it that night. I'm really happy that it's finally out, but the energy of that night was unlike anything I've ever done. It was just a big love fest in there.
For sure, man. And just so appreciate you always representing and showing up for us, man. It's always literally an honor to work with you because I feel like you're an entrepreneur, but you're an artist. So to watch you do your thing was cool for me, because we come at art from a different angle. But you can always, that's the great thing when you work with somebody who comes at art from a different angle is you wind up learning things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, likewise, man. You bring a different dynamic to what we do that, being able to, everything what we do is we usually follow like energy of bands and stuff. So to work with you where we have to actually use our brains and you make us all think in a different way. And it's probably one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. I mean, that's why I love doing stuff with you. I mean, Even the
Thank
first
you, man.
special, that was a blast. I mean,
yeah, they were all so great. Let me tell you what I do learn from you. Actually, not to make this like a complete like compliment contest, but
he loves it. Go for it.
Yeah, one of the things that I really learned from you in watching how you lead is you come from a place of infinite possibility when you're creating these big shows. So a lot of people, they're problem oriented. You know, they look at problems in their life and they almost like focus on the problems to the point where they exacerbate them. They make them worse. They don't fix them. They make them worse. You're solution minded. So you just kind of look at things from possibility, and you see a problem, and then you cut through to find the solution, even if you couldn't see it from that angle, which is something, you know, I want to apply more of that into my life and into my poetry.
Well, you know what? If you could do me one favor, please tell Oprah about me, and that'll make. There we go, done. All right, I'm gonna let you guys get back to the show. I love you.
We can get Oprah on the show. That'd be great.
It's always an honor to work with you, and congrats on getting married this weekend. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
Man.
Yeah, congratulations. We heard about that.
I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, get out of here, Dan.
How was it, Ben? So obviously, in Q, you did this. You did these live performances, but now you're kind of doing virtual performances.
Yeah,
kind of like storytelling workshops. So how has that been, kind of adjusting more to that instead of a live performance?
You know, I thought it was going to be an issue. You know, I was unsure whether or not workshops specifically were going to work because the workshops are all about being vulnerable from a place of strength and like true intimacy and sharing. And, you know, is that possible to maintain that intimacy digitally? And that was the question I was asking myself. But I realized it is, you know, because as long as you provide a platform for people to open up their minds and open up their hearts and share their truth, they will always step into that space. And so that's what I've been doing. And it's been equally as powerful in a really different way. So it's fulfilling also to know, I mean, imagine this whole thing without the internet.
Oh my God.
I mean, honestly, look what we're doing right now. I mean, we take it for granted because we're so used to it happening, but we're all in different places. We've never met each other and we're able to communicate. And whether or not we can feel each other's energy, I feel like I'm with you guys in a moment. And
this is how we interact. Yeah.
Say it again, bro.
Like this is how we hang out with each other now. Like this is our new reality. We've gotten used to it.
And it would have been so crazy and even more isolating to have to go through this without these tools that at least potentially are the biggest tools to connect humanity in the history of the world. You know, those tools also depend upon how we use them, as we're seeing with a lot of the division. But, you know, like any tool, it has a maturity time. The internet is in an adolescent stage. It's still growing up. And eventually it's going to mature. And I tend to lean on the side of hope. So certainly for me, how I use the tool is to try to connect with people. And during this particular pandemic time, I have, I guess, become more aware of how I spend my time because I have a bigger comparison point. And so, you know, in the end, it's all who you spend your time with and how you spend your time. And we get to share this moment together. And I'm grateful for that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've gotten so used to Zoom. At first, it was weird, but I've gotten good at because I come from the songwriting world and doing co-writes on Zoom was a weird thing to get used to. But now it's so normal that you can you get to a point where you can actually feel like you're with the person that you're working with, you know.
Do you think it's better in some ways as well? Convenient. Like, have you found things that you like more about it?
It's convenient because I can book a writing session and just like say like, okay, I can hop on right now. Don't have to drive across town or anything like that. But it took some getting used to. I think now it doesn't really feel like it's as dire, but I feel like when I'm actually able to like write with people in person, it's going to be even that much better. You know, I feel like it's just training us for that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying about comparison points.
Yeah,
is it's hard to truly appreciate something if you have no comparison point.
That's right. Yeah.
That's so true. And so speaking of songs and songwriting, not only are you a national poetry slam champ and all these other, you do all these like TV specials and seminars and TED Talks, and you have a book. You're also a multi-platinum songwriter.
That's right.
So there's this book. He just showed a
Inquire Within.
Inquire Within.
And
tell us about the book.
Well, if you look at the cover, it has the branches that mirror the roots.
Oh, yeah.
And when you turn it upside down, the roots become the branches. But when you turn it to the side, it's lungs.
Oh, yeah.
And so the two halves of the book are inhale and exhale. And this literally came out last March 31st. So it's almost a year old, but it came out during the height of the anxiety and fear around the virus. Yeah. So it was just kind of strange. The whole underlying foundation of the book is breathing and just making sure that there you go. What's up, dude?
Dan's got a copy. I can't wait to read this.
Yeah, I know for sure.
Yeah, I ordered our guest last week, Lou Brutus's book. I'll have to get yours too. I'm just gonna make a whole new library after this season.
It's
incredible. You'll let me know what you think for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think now is a great time for everyone to start reading books.
Yeah.
We're all at home.
Printed on paper.
Turn off the TV, read a book. Yeah.
Right on.
So going back to the fact that you're a multi-platinum songwriter, you have written for Selena Gomez, Aloe Black, Mike
Foster
Posner,
the People,
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus, Foster the People.
So what is that like for you? Where do you find the inspiration, or does it just come to you? Is it?
Inspiration is interesting, and it depends upon the genre that you're being inspired to express through. So for my poetry, I always will just start a piece in a place that I'm like either inspired by, like specifically inspired, like something in life happens and I'm like, oh, that's inspiring. And I'll start a piece there. Or it could be something I'm pissed off by.
Yeah.
Or it could be something that I'm moved by. Like I was talking to a friend the other day when we were talking about music, and there were birds in the background and they were singing. And so as I was talking to him, I said, the birds aren't singing to win a Grammy. And then I said, oh, that's a good line. Give me a second.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Down. And then it was, the birds aren't singing to win a Grammy.
Hey.
They're not trying to go platinum through their marketing or planning. They're just jamming.
Just doing it.
I listen without even understanding. The truth without agenda is authentically astounding. It makes me think of cheetahs. They don't run for our approval. They don't judge their spots or contemplate some laser hair removal. It makes me think of wolves. They don't howl for validation. They don't have to get the perfect pic to post on their vacation. It makes me think of eagles. They're not soaring to impress me, although once I saw a dolphin backflip over a jet ski. My point is neither one of them would sell me shit on Etsy, and I doubt a porcupine would ever try to come off sexy. Humans are the only animals that pretend to be something that they're not. Why are we ashamed of what we've got? We should, anyway, so it went on from there, right?
Dude, oh my God. I'm just like, keep going, keep on going. Oh my God.
But it started in that one place, the one moment of truth that I said, that's interesting. To answer your question, songwriting's different from me because songwriting is less usually about the inspiration first, and it's more about an assignment. And then I find inspiration within the assignment. Because if I'm working with somebody that I respect, or I get to collaborate with an artist, as you were saying, when you go into sessions, you're just bouncing off of the other person. And then once you find something, you follow that breadcrumb trail, and it can take you to places that are even surprising to you. But they're like totally different strategies and totally different experiences. And that's why I like them both, because they actually help the other one. Like if I'm stuck in songwriting, I go to poetry. And then when I go back to songwriting, I feel more flow, and vice versa.
That's a really good idea. I like that. Yeah.
You have performed for Quincy Jones, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. Like we said, you've done TED Talks, 2 TV specials, the book, songwriting. The list
amazing.
goes on. And you've done multiple TED Talks, by the way. And that's kind of unheard of. So for you personally, what was your most inspiring career moment, like for you, the most defining moment for you as an artist?
Well, I would say what we did. Sorry, go ahead, man.
I was saying like, tell us how you got to where you are now. Like how did the stars align for you?
Well, the stars are always aligning. It's not a product; it's a process.
Right. That's right.
That you get in trouble when you think you've arrived anywhere. We're just in the never-ending now.
I know that feeling.
So, I would say though the NQ Live at the Ace Theater that I did with Dan, it really, City Drive Studios, we created something that was capturing a magical evening. And so I would say that moment was definitely one of the most special moments. Also, there was just crazy people in the audience that I was fans of. Like Chris Martin was sitting almost in the front row. I'm a huge Coldplay fan, and so to have somebody that's inspired me so much experience my art, that was a real incredible thing that I'll never forget. But it was also just the energy in the room. And we were talking about comparison points. Now that we have a comparison point, to think about gathering again, and how beautiful it is to share space and energy with other people. Like after the pandemic and whatever it was, 1918 or whatever, the Roaring 20s came right after, and it was because people were fucking dressing up to go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
They were so tired of feeling confined, and they were like, we're going to get out here and live life. And I feel like when we all get a chance to gather again, it's going to be something different. There's going to be a different level of intention and power.
I always say that people are going to be jonesing to go out and see live shows, live entertainment, live art again.
Movie theaters will come back for sure.
Let people calling and texting you asking for the ticket hookup. People are going to be like, I don't care. I will pay whatever. I just want to go see a show.
Just want to go. Everyone's going to want to see that.
For sure.
But it's
we're also named in Oprah's Super Soul 100. What was that like?
That was incredible. I got a phone call and said that I had been chosen in this unbelievable group of human beings. And then we went and we had a day together, and there was content and conversation, and I got a chance to meet Oprah, and it was a really special memory that I'll hold on to forever.
So I guess my next question on that is, with all the incredible, huge things that you've done and continue to do and are doing, how do you stay so humble?
You're never as good as people say you are, and you're never as bad as people say you are. That's a saying that I think I heard George Clooney say that in an interview like 15 years ago or something. I don't know if it's his or if it was somebody else's, but it resonated with me. And I don't know. Thinking you're cool is fucking boring. It's just so boring, man. Like everybody has to die. Everybody's spinning in the middle of the space. Nobody really knows why. Faith is a choice. You have to choose to believe that it's either happening to you or it's happening for you. And, I do my best to believe that it's happening for me. And one of the beautiful things about being alive is connecting to other people and being with them. And I can't do that if I'm running around thinking I'm better than people. That's what's messed up with our culture. We either look up to people or we look down on people. Yeah. And we rarely ever look at people. And if you look at people, you see how beautiful they are, how ugly they are, but how human they are, and how you can see yourself in them and vice versa. So I think the stupidest thing for me to do, actually separate from me just being a person in the world, is, remove myself from everyone else, because I'd stop having interesting things to say in my art.
Yeah.
Do you think that the years and years of backbreaking work that you've been doing this for so long, and I know from firsthand experience, the years and years of suffering and not necessarily suffering, but like just busting your ass and getting nothing from it, and then finally getting to a point where you're like, oh my God, like I have a career doing this. I mean, that's got to be something that helps to keep you humble, right? Like not blowing up so quickly.
Yeah, but if you blow up quickly and you lose sense of who you are, you either burn out quickly or you last, but you're miserable. Because then you need everyone to look at you like that in order to feel okay.
Right.
Two perfect examples of what you just described are Justin Bieber and Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, look, I haven't seen the Britney Spears thing. My wife has, and she told me to watch it, and so I wanna check it out. But like Bieber seems like I don't know Bieber, but it seems to me like he's gone through all of the stages.
Yeah.
And he's moved through a lot of them. I can't speak for him, as I said, because I don't know him and I don't like speaking for other people anyway. But I've definitely seen him from afar go on a journey. And it's incredibly hard to be famous when you're young because you don't even have a sense of yourself before you get all of that external validation.
Yeah.
And it takes a really strong person who knows who they are to get the external validation and not get so high from it that you need it. Like you need your fix.
Yeah.
And then you start getting around yes people that give you that fix all the time. And then you just lose your equilibrium. So I think it must be much, much harder if you get famous when you're young.
Yeah. It's got to be traumatizing. I mean, there's got to be cognitive effects that happen. I'm curious though, you're now such a world-renowned poet. Did you ever, I got kind of a couple questions I want to pick your brain on, but did you ever consider, well, first of all, did you get into songwriting first before getting into poetry? And did you ever consider becoming a singer or a rapper or something, some sort of art form that's a little bit more easy to market nowadays? Like I'm a singer, I'm a rapper, like, oh, good, perfect. We know what to do with you. The market for poetry is a very different thing. It almost seems like a much more barren place to be. But I guess my first question is like, did you start out songwriting and then get into poetry, or which came first?
Well, I started out rapping. That was the first thing that I did.
No way.
And then, and then
wow.
I wound up in an open mic for poets when I was like 19. I mean, I'm old as shit now, you
look great.
And stuff, thank you. And anyway, so I started doing my rapping a cappella at this open mic called the Poetry Lounge, and it is one of the biggest open mics in the country. There's the New Eurekan in New York, and there's Green Mill in Chicago, and then it was the Lounge in LA. So it was 350 people, something like that, every single Tuesday night. And I was there in the early years, and we kind of helped popularize the place together. And that's not it. I wouldn't never wear a suit at the Lounge, but yeah, it was awesome, man. And that community became a family. And then all the years that I was there, even when I was on Def Poetry Jam and when we won the National Poetry Slam Championships, I still thought I was more of a rapper than a poet. And then kind of one day I realized like, no, this community has impacted me so much. I've transitioned. And it was one of the best realizations of my life, actually.
So when you were younger, where did that influence come from for the kind of pop, hip hop culture? Because I watched your special and I definitely, like, before you came on, I was like, this dude's got some hip hop behind him and I love it. But where did that come from? What were your influences?
I mean, everyone from Freestyle Fellowship to Gangstar to, Illmatic I memorized every single possible word in that album, but even like, I remember the first time I really got into hip hop, which was I listened, I don't know how old I was. I was a kid, but I was listening to Parents Just Don't Understand. I heard the Will Smith song, Parents Just Don't Understand, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And I thought, wow, that's something I can relate to. Parents just don't understand. They don't, and my dad wasn't around when I was a kid. So my mom's school teacher, she raised me on her own. And my mom's from Brooklyn. And so we went to Brooklyn to visit family or something like that. We were in New York for something. And I begged her to take me to I don't know, one of the, I forget the name of like, what are some of those shops? Not Blockbuster, but you know, like the place you would buy music back in the day.
Oh yeah, like a Tower Records and
like a Tower.
Spencer's. Did they use
Say it again?
Spencer's Music? Did they sell it?
No,
that might just
FYE.
be a Midwest thing.
On Cue was
no, not Spencer. FYE and you know.
I don't remember the name right now, but it was one of those places. I begged her to take me, you know, so she takes me down there. I get it. I go back home and I was in my cousin's house and there was a boombox and I put in the tape and I just played it and I wrote down every lyric, and then I wrote every lyric down and then I did it. I was in there for 5 hours.
Wow.
And I rapped it until I memorized it. And then I would just put it on without the thing. And I started doing it to the thing. And I was like 8, 9, I don't know.
Wow.
So I was just immediately hooked. And then of course my taste changed as I got more kind of experiences and of other people's styles.
Well, what you just described there is what is a great exercise that I've always advocated towards up-and-coming bands or songwriters that are trying to find their sound and trying to figure out what they want to write about. And exactly that, like find things that get you excited and learn how they do it. Like cover a song or like you did, write out all the lyrics and like learn how he says it and how he does it phrase for phrase, and that goes into your brain, and then you eventually start to develop your own style.
Yeah.
From that, you know, that's just a great exercise.
Yeah. Look, no one in the world can be you.
Yeah.
and when you really realize that and own it, it doesn't even matter if people like you or don't like you. Like, you have to be willing not to be liked in order to be loved. You know, you have to truly be like, no, I'm good. Like, I get this. Like, I don't get life, but I know who I am, and I am on the path of self-discovery in every moment. And, you know, then you just put that into whatever your art is. That's why nobody can teach you how to be an artist. Yeah. All they can do is provide a platform for you to explore it yourself.
Yeah.
Once you explore enough, you find your style, but your voice is always there.
Yeah.
You just have to pay attention. You know, like people say, oh, you know, like where do you get your inspiration? And I'm like, if you're not inspired by life, you're not paying attention.
That's very true. And I feel like there's
attention.
I feel like a lot of people are getting turned on to poetry now. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I was really inspired when I heard the poem that Amanda Gorman said during the inauguration, and then she did another one at the Super Bowl. I'm curious if you're a fan of her. I know she's kind of new on the scene, but if you think that she is another piece that's helping people get more into poetry, more into spoken word type art like that.
1,000%. Yeah, she was amazing at the inauguration.
Oh, good. Oh, man.
She was so powerful, and she has such a bright spirit, and she owned that moment. I mean, that's a big moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't know what to expect when she went up, and I was like, and by the end of it, I was just like, jaw hit the floor. But I felt the same way when I watched your special, when I watched your TED Talk. I was just like, this is right up there with that level of poetic, like just great, eloquently spoken word. And I hope that the only thing that comes out of it is more people get more into it, because that's how you can make so much of a positive change in the world, is by speaking truth in such an eloquent and artistic way.
Thank you. Yeah, look, when people saw her that day, little kids all over the country and probably the world said, I want to be a poet when I grow up. Like little 7-year-old kids, you know, and I mean, some of my best art experiences were watching other poets on stage. And so that's my dream, that there's an actual path for poetry in popular culture where people can monetize it and expose it. And so Amanda Gorman is definitely helping to pave the way, and I'm excited for her and for the genre in general.
Same here.
I think that poetry is helping. It's obviously a form of expression, and right now with everything going on, people are finding that writing poetry at home or thinking of things in their head, just doing poetry in their head as they see things is really helping them through kind of what's going on with all this COVID. I'm not saying everybody, but I think it's a great outlet.
Yeah, look, the workshops that we've been doing, I do private things for corporations and private speaking for corporations. And then I do public shows like we did with Dan. And then I do public workshops. Like we just finished something called The New You, which was the first digital public workshop that I've done. We had 150 people who signed up for 4 weeks straight. And we give prompts and we allow people to explore moments in their life, explore fears, explore dreams through poetry, and then have the experience of either getting on the digital stage to perform or performing to one person and being witnessed. Because once you get a story outside of your mind and outside of your heart, it has less power over you. You can see it from a bit of a distance. And then you get to decide, well, what story am I telling myself? And how do I want to move forward? And I think this is a time when people need an outlet to express themselves so that it doesn't get trapped inside of you. Emotion is energy in motion. And if you don't move the emotion, if you don't move the energy, then it becomes disease, dis-ease. And so this is just another way for people to move the energy. It's an honor to facilitate those things.
This is why InQ is a fucking wordsmith. Oh my God. Like,
no kidding.
So well said. Thank you.
So how did you come up with, here's an off-topic question. How did you come up with your name, which if the people that are watching, if they don't know, InQ is short for in question?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like 15 and I was trying to come up with a hip hop name. And my buddy Jay was like, you should be Inquiry because you ask so many questions. I was always very curious. I think I would have been a pretty good journalist or therapist if I wasn't a poet. And so he was like, I think that should be your name, Inquiry. And then people just started calling me InQ. And I was like, in high school, like all of my boys just called me InQ. And then people started calling me Q. And then as I kind of grew into my life and into my art, it became In Question. And my real name is Adam. So it makes more sense, it's Adam in Question, which is pretty much my whole life,
That's amazing, man. One of my favorite things to watch, and it just blows my mind how people can do this, is seeing freestyle rappers and and just go up on the mic and just spit things just off the top of their head. I'm wondering, do you ever do that with poetry? Do you ever do like freestyle poetry at all? Like freestyle poetry battles or anything like that? Or
well, slamming is battling basically for poetry.
That makes sense.
But you're not freestyling it.
Really?
So you know what it is, and then you go on stage and there's 5 judges that are picked from random, and then the top score and the bottom score get dropped and the average of the 3 becomes the score, and you have a team and whatever. So then you wind up winning. And I think slam, competition poetry, has been incredible for me and been incredible for the art form. But I think if you're in it too long, then you start to write for the scores rather than writing for yourself. So it's something that everybody has to find the balance in their own expression. I used to battle a lot, but not in poetry. It was in hip hop. I mean, I've been in a lot of battles when I was younger. And there's nothing that puts you in the moment faster than that, because you can't think about anything else but the next line and the next rhyme. So it's a form of like meditation in a strange way, but it's also competition. So it brings out your adrenaline. It's like a mental fight. I don't freestyle with my poetry because it takes me so long to make sure the words are right that I just don't play around with that. But I still love freestyling for myself. I don't do it for other people, but I love it.
We were gonna try to see if we could
the floodgates and seeing what comes out.
We were gonna try to see if we could trick you into freestyling for us on the show right now.
I will not be tricked, my friend.
So
fair enough, right?
With the freestyling and stuff like that, like, did you do kind of like what what Eminem said he did, where he spent hours going through a dictionary and a thesaurus to learn new words for alternate words for everyday words, just to kind of exercise your brain and to always be thinking about things like that?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely did. There's something called the rhyming dictionary, which was kind of really interesting back in the day. So, I read through that or would flip through that. But also, my mom was, as I said, a school teacher, and she's very eloquent, my mom. And she was always very curious as well. So maybe that's where my curiosity comes from. And she's a writer. And she, I guess, would always ask me about my day. When we'd come and we'd eat together, of course, and she would say, "How was your day?" And she would really draw me out to explain what my day was like. So I think I had a pretty good example of just language and the importance of it.
I'm going to have to find out exactly what it is that your mom did, because I asked my 11-year-old, "How was your day?" And she's like, "It's good."
Well, maybe by the time I was 11, I was doing the same thing. But, yeah, my mom's she's great at talking to people about them. She knows how to open people up. And it's always been one of her superpowers.
That's probably something that a lot of teachers have, right?
Maybe, yeah.
That's a very noble line of work right there.
But that's also energy work.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a lot of people, if she's got a good energy and knows how to talk to people are going to feel that. They might not know that that's energy work, but they're going to feel that, and they're going to be like, "Oh, she's a safe person to open up to," even if it's subconsciously, and then start talking.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Eva, is your daughter ever like, "Why don't you just check my Facebook, Mom?"
She doesn't have a Facebook.
Okay, that's probably a good thing at this age.
Smart. There you go.
How old is your daughter?
11.
Okay.
No social media.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Probably a good thing.
That's very smart.
She reads a lot. It helps. We're good. Yeah, and you try to do the whole, it's like, "How was your day?" "Good." So then I've been like, okay, I got to start asking her other questions. Like, what was your favorite part of your day?
Exactly.
And then she's like, lunch.
Right.
Like, what was your least favorite part of the day? Math. I'm like, okay.
Why?
Anything else? And she's like, nope. I'm like, okay.
You know how kids will, this just happened the other day with somebody's little boy. He's like 3.5 or something. And I was talking to him, and he loves sharks. And I said, sharks don't sleep. They never sleep, sharks. They're always just moving. They have to keep moving.
To breathe, right?
And he goes, "Why?" And I said, I don't know. I think it's just because sharks have to do that. I said, I was watching Animal Planet once, and I trying to have a real conversation with him. And he's just like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, because, and little kids will do that to us. They'll keep asking us why and why and why. And it makes us almost to the point where we want to pull our hair out, because we either don't know, or we're getting all the way down to the why of the core of everything, why. But we can do that to them too.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the day? Why?
Why?
Okay. And how did it make you feel?
Yep.
And then what part of that, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
No, it's just, she just does that. I'm like, well, why was that your favorite part of the day? Because.
Have you thought about doing a parenting advice workshop? Because you should be
No,
pretty good at it. I think,
bullshit. I don't have kids yet.
You don't have kids? Oh, wow.
No, we just got married this weekend.
Well,
so.
congratulations on just getting married. How does it feel?
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
You have a picture of us. Wow.
Oh.
That is mind-blowing. Yes, it feels great.
That's
amazing.
so awesome. And what a journey it is. Let me tell you what.
Okay, so you're really good with words. What was your pickup line?
What was my pickup line?
What was your pickup line? Go ahead. You remember?
Well, we ended up on our first date. It wasn't a pickup line. We ended up messaging back and forth and decided to spend some time together. And we had a great first date. And then we wound up back at her porch. We were drinking tea on her porch.
Oh.
And it was not a pickup line, but this was our first date. It was interesting. She says, "How old are you?" I told her how old I was. I was, I think, 37, 38 at the time. She's like, "Okay, you've never had kids?" I said, no. She said, you've never been married. I said, no. And she said, huh. What's wrong with you? And she was right. You know, she was right to ask that question, because she was basically saying, like, are you healthy? Like,
yeah, right.
You know, like, what's going on? Like, what am I not seeing here?
So did you?
But I didn't like the question, even though I knew that she had every right to ask it. I didn't like it. So I was like,
it was
I'm
love
not going to
at
answer
first
that.
inquiry, right?
What's that?
It was love at first inquiry, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
There we go.
So
Yeah.
I told her I wasn't going to answer the question. And then it got kind of awkward. And then the date like ended like pretty soon after that. Like maybe like 15 minutes after that, you know.
She's like, okay, well, that was nice.
We both thought that. We both did. I think both of us were like, okay, cool. That was a great date, but probably not. And then for whatever reason, we ended up going out on a second date. And I'm just so glad we did. I mean, you know,
did you write your own wedding vows? Since you're
I had written her a poem to ask her if she wanted to get married, you know, and in part of the poem, I said, on our first date, you asked me why I hadn't settled down. I refused to give an answer, but I have your answer now. I was always waiting for you. You're the reason that you asked. My words have never done you justice, but I search for them at last. And I, you know, so it was a long poem, you know, and it's funny now that I look back on that moment, is she was the reason that she asked. She was the answer to the question that I wasn't willing to give her.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Absolutely amazing.
So do you, two-part question, do you write her poems often? And if you do that, does she start to just be like, okay, got it, it's your job, you're really good at this? Or is she like, oh my God, it's so sweet?
She was definitely crying for the engagement poem.
Well,
and by the way, I wasn't even trying to write that. I thought it was going to be so corny to like ask my girlfriend to marry me with a poem when you're a poet. It's just like, come on, you know. But I started writing a piece. You know, it was the same thing. I got hit with a thought, and the thought was, every love poem I ever wrote was about you.
That's amazing.
And it was a powerful thought to me, so I started writing it down. And I didn't even know that it was going to be that poem. And I went all the way into the poem, and then at one point, the poem just started saying, I vow to have you and to hold you till the day I say goodbye. I vow for better or for worse, as long as you are by my side. I vow to cherish you in sickness and in health until I die. And it just kept going like that. So the poem told me what it wanted to be. So yeah, I thought it was going to be corny, but it ended up being really beautiful, and she was really moved by that one. In general, though, like anything else, familiarity makes you unimpressed. You know?
Right.
So yeah, she loves my poems, but she's also like, shut up, you know, like which is good, because that keeps me grounded as well.
I was gonna say, it's almost like what better way? I mean, I could kind of understand that, how you didn't want to do a poem, but what better way to show your emotion than your art? You know,
that's true.
You know how. So
do you have any advice?
Amazing.
Do you have any advice for me for writing like a love song or something in a positive light? I feel like whether the songs that I write are dark in nature or positive in nature, I always feel like I am the best at my writing when I'm in kind of a low mental state, or I'm in a toxic relationship, or I'm in like a very, you know, a kind of a, like when I just feel really, really like low. And it's a way for me to take those negative feelings and channel it into something beautiful, into something artistic. And it takes a huge weight off of it. It's very therapeutic in my way. But I feel like I struggle to write music when everything's going great in my life. So any advice for that for me?
Yeah, that's a shitty thing though, because then sometimes you'll create pain and suffering just to have something to write about. You know, I'm not saying you specifically, but people do that all the time, you know, and there's this whole illusion that you have to have this like crazy life, and then that's the thing that you have to write about. And it really it isn't. It's about a way to pay attention when everything is going well. You know, when something is not going well, it demands your attention. Mm-hmm. You know, you're in a bad place, someone is attacking you, you know, whatever. There's a million things I could come up with in examples. It demands your attention. But when things are good, well, I'm just going to float over here and then I'm going to float over there. And you don't even, you know, awareness kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
Everything's good. What do you need to express? But it's like, no, you just have to like train yourself to pay attention in a different way. And that's something that it comes with effort, but it's like any other muscle that you build. Once you build it to a certain point, you find you can lift more.
That's amazing, man.
Exercise.
Well, one of the biggest songs that you wrote was "Love You Like a Love Song" with Selena Gomez. What was the? I'm curious. Did you collaborate on that song, or was that a song that you had written beforehand?
So I collaborated with Rock Mafia, who's an incredible production team and record label. They are literally my family. Shout out to Tim and Antonina, and that was Antonina's idea originally. And she had the melody for that chorus and she had the concept for it. And she's transcendent too. She can just snatch something out of the ether. You know, creativity doesn't come from us. It comes through us.
Yes.
So that's why the paying attention is so important. And she paid attention and she got something and she put it in the recorder and then came in and her and TJ started working on the song together. And then they brought me in and then we finished the demo of the song. And then that's when Selena heard it. And then she came in and she put her stamp on it as well. So it was a collaborative effort.
Well, that's amazing. Amazing. I was looking at your body of work, Foster the People and Miley Cyrus and all these. Like, do you have any artist that you felt very, very fulfilled to write with?
I mean, all of them in a really different way. You know, when I started writing the pop stuff, it was through Rock Mafia. Rock Mafia brought me in they gave me a publishing deal and really allowed me a foundation to build on. Because to go back to your earlier question, it was very hard to monetize poetry. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't quite figure out how to make a living out of it, but I knew it was something that I loved. And the songwriting was the first thing that I got some success in and was able to monetize in a real way. And then I could use that success to get back into poetry because I had more freedom. I had more space. I wasn't in survival mode all of the time. But when I first started writing with them, you know, I didn't listen to pop music at all.
Really?
Like Selena Gomez is incredible now. She's somebody that I respect. She's someone that I admire. She's somebody that I loved working with.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't listen to her before that. I didn't listen to Miley Cyrus before that. You know, so every single time I got a chance to work with someone, I was always, first of all, immediately surprised at how dope they are and how talented they are. You know, there's anyone who makes it, this is like some weird illusion that people have. Like, it's so easy to judge someone from afar. You know, like anyone who makes it, it's so easy to be like, whatever, that's you know, like that. But then you meet them and you're like, oh, I get it. You're like, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, Miley Cyrus is a powerful human being.
Yeah.
She's powerful.
Smart.
And she's really extremely talented and she's extremely, you know, so working with any buddy that I had a chance to work with from Aloe Black to Mark Foster, I always walk away as a better artist and more fulfilled.
Mark Foster's an incredible songwriter in himself, so it's amazing you got to collaborate with him.
He's a genius, man.
So brilliant.
You know, I saw them perform even after I had worked with him. I saw them perform at the Life is Beautiful Festival, which I've done a lot of work with in Vegas, and that was one of the best performances I've ever seen. It has nothing to do with me being a friend or a collaborator. It's as a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, they are an incredible band.
It must have been so fulfilling for you to see Chris Martin at your show, who is another just like powerhouse of a songwriter.
You know, I heard that he had a show at the Rose Bowl like a few weeks after. And I literally just found this out because somebody that I know knows him. we were able to chat backstage, and he was, awesome and really sweet to me. But we didn't maintain a relationship after that. But I knew that he had this Rose Bowl show coming up, and he invited me to it. And somehow we just didn't connect the dots, and I didn't end up going.
Oh, no.
And somebody recently told me that they went to that Rose Bowl show and that he ended up doing a Rumi poem halfway through. And I have no idea if that was influenced by the show that Dan, captured. But what I know is that whether it was or whether it wasn't, it's incredible to me that he is doing poetry in front of 50,000 people. So, once people plant the seed of poetry, it grows. And
yeah. I hope it keeps on growing because it's so amazing and it's so inspiring, and it's only making the world better.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Putting your art out into this world and doing all this amazing stuff you're doing. It's inspiring people, it's encouraging people. Whether it be to pull out the poet in them or to see the world differently. I think that you're doing some really, really incredible work. And if you guys have not checked out his newest special, it is live at the Ace Theater, streaming right now on Prime Video. Make sure you check that out. And also his book.
That's right.
Wire Within. Get that from your local bookstore. Support small business.
It's a tree and lungs.
It is.
Pretty cool.
Roots and lungs. InQ, it was so amazing having you with us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. And I really appreciate you sharing your community with me, and wish you much continued happiness and success.
Dude, same here. I feel inspired just talking to you. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Hi, guys.
Oh, my God. InQ, everybody. Woo! Listen to that crowd. They are just going crazy.
He was amazing. I want him to be my therapist.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
What? Can't hear you over the clapping.
What an incredible guest.
Wow. Oh my God.
I feel incredible. Normally I chime in more and I just couldn't.
I want to just hear him talk. I just want to sit back and listen. I can see why he I'm just like, he just starts talking, and I'm sure any girl that he meets is going to be like, marry me now. Amazing.
That's not even
he's taken now. So.
No. He said, I'm just saying but no, I feel so inspired. I feel like a changed person just listening to him talk. Like, he's put so many amazing things in perspective. And that's why, I'm so glad to see that the fans of just pure, unfiltered poetry, not even songwriting or rapping or anything attached to it, just purely words. Just so amazing. Oh,
so next week on our show, we've got Il Nino joining us.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
That'll be cool.
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, every Monday for the foreseeable future.
Yes,
we'll be doing an episode every Monday with awesome guests. You guys are gonna die when you see the lineup we have coming up, and I'm like, after tonight's episode, I'm like, how is it going to get better?
Woo. I'm excited, man. I saw Il Nino a long time ago opening up for Seven Dust back in 2003. So it'll be really amazing. Now, that was God, so long ago. It'd be really amazing to meet those guys. I'm really excited. They put on a crazy live show.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've seen them once at the Civic Center here, Eva. They were awesome. Really
so
good.
Cool, man.
So be sure and tune in next Monday. You guys are so awesome. RJ, do you have a high note for us this week?
I certainly do. So if you guys are ready, we can wrap the show up on a high note. Ready? What?
Yes!
What's that? Did I hear? Hey, somebody ask for a Oh, I got one for you this week. And this week's high note is called February. Too cold, too awesome. Yeah! February, baby. As I mentioned last week, February unfairly gets left out in the cold because it's so freaking cold. But there's some fun things you can do this month that'll make you wish spring will never sprung, come back, however it goes. Just look out the window. Look out the window right now. Look at all that snow out there. Call me crazy, but you put some strawberry syrup on that. Oh, mama. Free snow cones. Yeah. Woo. Worth it. or put some in your coffee and make yourself a homemade nature colada. With all of us still in lockdown, there's so many fun outdoor activities to do. You can go sledding down a hill, or if you don't have a hill, you can just do what I did as a kid. I called it cross-country sledding, which is just basically dragging yourself on the sled across your flat yard. You won't get very far, but hey, you'll burn off that quarantine 15. Think of it as a snow Peloton. Also, think about the many blessings February 2021 has to offer. You can now blame not going out on something else besides COVID. You know, Aunt Karen keeps complaining you never come to visit. You don't want to go because all she does is watch cable news 24/7. So you blame it on the COVID. But she thinks that's a big conspiracy hoax and you can't argue with stupid. But now it's like, hey, sorry, Aunt Karen, I got snowed in and the weather's really killing my phone service. So I can't. See, there's so many silver linings to the cold, snowy months. But one thing I can only hope keeps getting more and more public attention is the month we research and appreciate the people who broke down barriers, fought for civil rights, and helped move us closer to racial equality. I say closer because we still have a ways to go. But these men and women in Black history deserve our greatest gratitude and recognition. So buckle up for another episode of Stop, Drop, and Learn.
Oh, God.
Starting, here's a few more hidden figures in Black history I learned about this year, and I'd love to share with you, starting with the first licensed Black pilot in the world, Bessie Coleman. Born to a family of sharecroppers in Texas in 1892, Coleman developed an interest in flying at a young age, but there were no opportunities for Black Americans or women to study in the United States. So she saved up enough money and obtained sponsorships to go to France for flight school. Upon returning back to America, she became a media sensation as a barnstorming stunt flyer performing dangerous tricks during the early stages of airplane technology, which is pretty scary. Even though history mostly talks about figures such as Amelia Earhart or the Wright brothers, Queen Bess is rightfully recognized as a pioneer of aviation. Jesse Owens was an Olympic track and field athlete who set a world record in the long jump in the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin, Germany, which went unrivaled for 25 years. He went on to win 4 gold medals at the Olympics that same year, inspiring so many who looked like him to chase after their dreams. Owens later received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1976 and was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 1990, a decade after his death. Gwendolyn Brooks is considered to be one of the most revered poets of the 20th century. She was the first Black author to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1950 for her book of poetry titled Annie Allen. And it seems pretty fitting that we're talking about poetry tonight. She also served as the poetry consultant to the Library of Congress, becoming the first Black woman to ever hold that position. Talk about breaking down walls, right? Wow. She was also the poet laureate of the state of Illinois, and many of her works reflected the political and social landscape of the 1960s, including the civil rights movement and the economic climate. February is now coming to a close this year, and right now it's the perfect time to not only recognize historical figures, but to praise modern-day pioneers blazing away. We just had one recently, and we just talked about her, Amanda Gorman. Speaking of poetry, right? A modern-day force, helping to keep the mainstream narrative on what matters. And that's how art, poetry, and music can make such great changes, like we talked about earlier. Not only words, but words that stoke at our souls, fire up our emotions, and soften even the hardest hearts deep-rooted in confused convictions. When words are chosen carefully and spoken eloquently in such a way and used to fight against what's wrong, but with an open hand instead of a clenched fist. That's how you change minds and keep us all moving towards a better place. So keep up the good fight. Build up instead of tear down. Speak truth and spread love. And I know I got nothing but love for all of you. And that's our show this week. I want to thank InQ, Eva Steele, B-Rock, Dan Catullo, and all of you Stop, Drop, and Talkers out there. Please like, subscribe, and tune in next week for your favorite internet dog and pony show.
Stop, Drop, and Talk.
Good night, everybody. See you next week. Woo!
See y'all later.
on you.
On you.